In this section, we will address the history of metastasis theory. Joseph Recamier, in his 1829 treatise on cancer, coined the term metastasis to describe the spread of cancer. The word comes from the Greek metastasis, which means a removing or a removal, a migration, a changing, a change, or a revolution. In 1858, Rudolf Virchow, the father of modern pathology, suggested that metastatic tumor dissemination was determined by mechanical factors, the arrest of tumor cell emboli in the vasculature. He believed that cancer cells broke off from the primary tumor and then got stuck in the circulation of distant organs, starting metastasis. The true father of metastasis theory is Steven Paget. Steven Paget wrote a seminal paper in 1889, The Distribution of Secondary Growths in Cancer of the Breast, which was published in the medical journal The Lancet. In that paper, he analyzed 735 fatal cases of breast cancer and argued that the distribution of metastases cannot be due to chance. Paget recognized that metastatic patterns did not simply follow blood flow distribution as suggested by Virchow. Paget referred to cancer cells as seeds, and the way they distributed throughout the body must be understood by studying the properties of the soil of the secondary organs. The quote from the paper is, "When a plant goes to seed, its seeds are carried in all directions, but they can only live and grow if they fall on congenial soil." Perhaps the best example of this is prostate cancer, which leaves the prostate and grows almost exclusively in the bones, suggesting that bone marrow is a congenial soil for prostate cancer seeds. In 1928, James Ewing challenged the seed and soil hypothesis by proposing that metastasis was determined by the anatomy of the vascular and lymphatic channels that drain the primary tumor. In other words, the metastases were a result of the lymphatics and the blood flow directly, and not related to the congenial soil that Paget talked about. Josh Fidler, a professor at MD Anderson Cancer Center, published a series of studies in the 1970s where he merged and added to previous theories and work and demonstrated that metastasis occurred in a series of sequential steps that involve cancer cells with different metastatic capabilities, that means different seeds, interacting with their microenvironment and other cells, leaving the primary, and ultimately landing in a congenial soil. They could leave the primary by going through the bloodstream or the lymphatics. This whole process then took into account Virchow, Paget, and Ewing, and suggested that successful cancer clones metastasized in a stochastic manner. This means that many cancer cells might leave the primary site, but very few would be successful at creating a successful metastasis, as different cells were lost along the way based on how hard it is to successfully metastasize. We will look at that in the next section.